Hello, everybody. I'm hoping that everybody's doing well. So, thank you, Lashes Journey, for stepping in earlier. I also saw that there's um, Tim Fay that came in earlier, and another individual as well that came in earlier. Thank you guys for coming in. So, of course, today we're going to have some spoilers for John Wick 4. So, if you haven't seen that movie, and you plan on seeing it, you don't want spoiler alerts, um, maybe come back to my live later on once you've seen the movie. If my voice sounds a bit weird, I am a little bit under the weather, so I apologize. Um, Yesterday, when I went to see the movie with my friend, we also went to see two museums. I ended up at that night and ended up being sick. Um, no fault of my friend's cause. She definitely wasn't the cause of my sickness. I think it was something that was just naturally building, so it's no fault of her. So I definitely don't blame her. It's just things that happen sometimes. So if I cough or if I go silent, I apologize. I will also be talking about a little bit about my adventures with the museums that I visited earlier in the day as well. So, hello, PSV Odyssey. Thank you for being here. I believe this is the first time that I'm seeing your name. If it's not, I apologize, but I don't recognize your name. But thank you for being here and supporting me. And even if all you're doing is listening to my video in the background, I appreciate it. I know that everybody has their life outside of YouTube. So even if all you're doing is listening to me in the background, I appreciate it. And I definitely, hopefully, you at least participate in the poll that I have. So if you can take a second to answer the question that I have um, in my poll. So the question I asked is, do you prefer streaming or cable? The first answer is cable. The second answer is streaming. The third answer is both. And the fourth and the final answer is no real preference. Obviously, be honest. I'm not, affiliated with cable TV or with any kind of streaming company. So if you prefer streaming, if you prefer cable, both, neither, don't worry. You're not hurting my feelings or finances. It really is a question that I'm asking for you guys to be honest about. So we're going to go ahead and play my intro video. And again, I am a bit under the weather, so if you hear me go silent, it is because I'm taking some water or going through a coughing fit and need to step away for a bit. So I apologize in advance, but hopefully, me being sync won't interrupt my live too much today. So, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and play my intro video, and we'll be back in about 30 seconds or so. And definitely, guys, introduce yourself, talk to each other, drop each other's link if you're a moderator, your own link, whatever the case might be. It's absolutely fine. I have no problems with that. And I hope that you all enjoy my live today. Again, there will be spoilers for the John Wick 4 movie. So if you haven't seen it, um, in maybe 20-30 minutes, I will be talking about the movie. I will be giving spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers in 20-30 minutes when I start talking about it, you might want to step away and watch the video later on. I won't hide or put the video as private. It will be available for later on. So for those of you who want to watch the movie later on, don't worry, you will be able to participate later on. But if all you want to do today is participate in the poll and listen to the video, you're more than welcome to be here with me, and I appreciate any and all support that you guys are able to give. I know that, like I said before, YouTube is not the end all be all of life, and that we all have our life outside of YouTube. So if all you can do is participate in the poll and watch the video in the background, I appreciate it dearly, and I know that that's already a lot to do. So thank you in advance, and we'll go ahead and find my intro video, and we'll let you guys come back afterwards. But I definitely enjoyed my time at the museums and at the movie. So sorry, I had to turn off the microphone. Did go through a mini coughing fit. But anyways, at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, they did have a couple of new exhibits. I did do a couple of videos already on the exhibits that are occurring at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, particularly the Parallel exhibit that's going on right now at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts. What I didn't realize when I first I did when I visited yesterday with my friend. There were these two books. Excuse me for a moment, guys. Sorry about that. I had to cough a little bit. So there were these two particular books that were really interesting that I didn't see or didn't. Hey, what are these? And it turns out they were for free. So I was able to get two books for free from the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts. Now, I don't know if they're free for everybody or free for just those that are members. But of course, for me, free is always a good price. I have no shame in admitting that. If a corporation or a person wants to give me something for free, I'm all for it. I'm definitely have no shame in accepting it. One of them is purely in French called De la couleur des mots, so the color of words. And the other is from Adele Abdeshemed. So I apologize if I mispronounce the family name, called Conflit. And it was about a particular exhibit that was about his artwork. And it is both in French and English. So I really appreciated getting those two books for free. They're very interesting and very enjoyable. And then when I went to the McCord Museum, there was two exhibits that were already there that I had seen, but then they had a new exhibit about Hochelaga. For those who don't know, Hochelaga is the Native American term for the island of Montreal. So it was definitely a good exhibit. I definitely took a lot of photos about that exhibit, and I will be updating my Flickr account soon enough. So probably by tomorrow or Tuesday morning at latest, I will be uploading the photos that I took to my Flickr account, which is of course linked in my about page or on my banner. So for those of you who want to see my photos that I take, you're more than welcome to go there as well. But that was definitely an enjoyable exhibit. And because the McCord Museum wants to revamp their um, gift shop, they also had a big sale. I think they had a lot of stuff that was on sale up to 75%. So I ended up getting quite a lot of things. I got a poster and a book, no, two books, sorry, and two postcards for normally my friend and I put our purchases together, and it ended up allowing me to get one book for free, and then the rest it cost me for the items that I wanted. I think like just under $20. Her items were something like $60, so she reimbursed me with what's called e-transfers in Canada. So it's kind of our PayPal that works through banks. So she was able to transfer her money that cover the cost of her items that she paid to my bank account. So direct deposit it into my account. So I ended up, because we spent more than $30 and we were members, I ended up getting a free book, which I much appreciated. And the books that I bought would have cost me, if it was a normal price, it would have cost me a good $60 to $70. So I definitely appreciated that a discount and be able to buy a few books, that one of them in particular I wanted to get earlier. But it was a little bit pricey, especially for what it was. It talks about taxidermy. I know it's kind of a morbid topic to some degree, but I'm always interested in these kinds of weird or unusual topics. So it was definitely enjoyable to get a book that I was interested in getting anyways at a much cheaper price. I think it was the normal price was $28 and some change, and was 75% off. So it was like, $9 or something for that book. So for me, it was definitely worth buying. And then, like I said, I ended up getting a free book on top of that. So for me, that purchase was definitely worth it. And like I said, I was able to see a new exhibit at the McCord Museum. So if you are in Montreal right now, or you're planning on going in the next, let's say 2-3 weeks, definitely take a moment to go to the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts and the McCord Museum in order to get some good discounts, some good books, some good reads, so that you're able to quote unquote edify yourself when it comes to artifacts and museums and so forth. So, for those of you who don't know, the McCord Museum is a more historical museum, and particularly looks into the history of Montreal, but it can talk about Quebec in general, or Canada in general as well. And of course, the Museum of Fine Arts is a little bit about everything, and history, fashion, music, whatever. It's really a more, if you're going to go to the Montreal museums, the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts is the big ticket. It's the big one to go to, and you're most likely going to go to that one if you are going to go to visit a museum in Montreal. So, but definitely, if you are visiting for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in Montreal, don't hesitate to visit other museums in Montreal. I always tell people in Montreal, we're very spoiled when it comes to our museums. We have a butt ton of a museum. I know I have to be mindful of the swearing that I do on Facebook. Facebook obviously came out with a new rules when it comes to swearing and showing weapons on Facebook and on YouTube, I should say. So I do have to be more mindful, but YouTube definitely does encourage education about arts, especially. and finances, etc. So, if, like I said, if you have a moment to come to Montreal and to enjoy museums, definitely go to the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts and the McCord Museum. You'll get a lot of books and a lot of exhibits that are very interesting and enjoyable. So, just give me a moment here, guys. So, we're going to go ahead and start talking about the movie John Wick. So, yesterday, like I said, I went to see John Wick 4 with one of my friends. So, if you haven't seen this movie and you want to go see this movie, spoiler alerts ahead of time. So, if you don't like spoiler alerts, maybe now is the best time to step away and to maybe come back to this live once you've seen the movie. Obviously, like the title implies, it is the fourth and officially the last movie in the John Wick series. So, if you haven't seen the three previous movies, I highly recommend it if you like action movies. The first movie is very gory, very to the point, um, very much R-rated, very much adult content. So if you have young children that you find might be sensitive to violence or gore or blood and things like that, this is definitely not the kind of movie or series of movies to show in front of your young children. This is definitely the kind of movie that it really is more for adults. So if this is kind of movie that you would not want to see yourself, definitely don't show the movie to your children. So again, like I said, guys, there will be spoiler alerts. So there will be, I won't show any part of the movie itself, so don't worry if you're a bit sensitive to blood or gore. I'm not going to show anything. It's really more spoilers as far as what's going on with this movie. And of course, I will be showing a lot of elements from Wikipedia. I make no shame or no bones about it. I use Wikipedia constantly for things. I think Wikipedia is a great resource for information and to present ideas, especially when it comes to movies. It tends to be pretty accurate. So just give me another moment here, guys. So, of course, thank you for waiting and being patient with me. John Wick 4, of course, stars Keanu Reeves as the title character, John Wick. Obviously, there are going to be other um, actors and players in the movie. And for those of you who don't know, Lance Reddick, who plays a minor character in the movie, he plays Sharon, who's the concierge at the hotel. John Wick movie is a modern day spy movie, assassinate movie, and they have this hotel that caters to the assassins. And Sharon is a concierge that works at one of the hotel in New York City. Um, in this movie and in real life, he did pass away. So rest in peace to Lance Reddick. My condolences to his friends and family. And even though he played a very minor role in the movie, his character was just like him, very classy, brought a lot of dignity to the movie, to the character, and you really felt that. This was the type of person and the type of character that was a stand-up guy, right? That was not the kind of person that allowed anything and everything to occur. He had a very strict set of morals and a code that anyone could respect. So it was very sad to see his character pass away in the movie, but also to know that this reflected the fact that the actor in real life also passed away. So again, my condolences to his family and friends, and I hope that his soul has gone to nothing else but heaven, or the equivalent to heaven if he isn't Christian. So we do have other actors and actresses that played other characters in the movie. Of course, we have Bill Skarsgård that played in the movie, who was the main villain in the movie as well, and other actors as well that were part of the movie, including Donnie Yen, and I'm probably mispronouncing the name, but please forgive me, Arena Swawayama. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing her name, but I might not be. Ian McShane as well played in the movie. It was a side character, but he was always featured in all the John Wick movies. We had the character played by Hiroyuki Sanada of Shimazu Koji, who was the manager of a hotel, the equivalent of the manager, uh, Ian McShane's character in Japan. Basically, in this movie, you had many different hotels that would manage and had concierge um, in the movie. So Yuki played the father or manager, and his daughter was played by Rena, who was the concierge, and Ian McShane and Lance Reddick played the equivalent for New York City. So it definitely build on a lot of what we saw in the previous three movies. So again, guys, I'm going to be going into some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and you plan on going to see the movie, now's the time to step away and to come back, hopefully, to this live once you've seen the movie. I definitely enjoyed it, but we'll, talk about a basic summary of the movie, and then we'll get into my opinions of it shortly. But in this movie, what you have to understand is, like I said, the conclusion of the three previous John Wick movies. So in the first movie, you see that John Wick is mourning the passing of his wife, Helen, of an unknown illness. It's never specified what she passed away with, but it is clear that she did pass away, and she left John Wick with a puppy to sort of help him get over the passing of her own life, and really allow him to mourn and to hopefully move on. And it's clear in the first movie that John Wick is an assassin. He's a trained assassin and very feared. And then one of the bad guys, the villain, the son of the main villain in that movie, comes and sees him at the gas station in his car, loves the car, really wants it. And after John Wick has made it clear that no, I'm not selling the car, I'm not giving you my dog, the son of the main villain in the movie basically goes into John Wick's home and steals the car and unalives the dog, and that sets off the first movie. And of course, John Wick gets revenge and unalives the son and the father, amongst many other individuals. But this sparks a whole series of consequences, because a lot of people, including the brother of the main villain, was like, hey, you unalived my brother, I can't just let this stand, I have to react. So of course, in the second movie, that's what you see happen, is the brother taking revenge, going after John Wick for unaliving his brother and nephew, etc. And in the third movie, again, you're building on that set of consequences, where it's implied that the one of the main characters in this movie is a girlfriend of John Wick, and she ends up being unalived by John Wick himself, because they're saying, well, if you want to be free, if you want to basically let go and not be held accountable and continue in the world of the society of assassins, you have to do this job or else. And you see all that adventure that comes in the beginning of the fourth movie. You kind of follow in that fourth movie where he's in the Sahara Desert somewhere, and it's made clear that the person that was promising his freedom in the third movie, John Wick goes after them and their clan and unalives those individuals, because at the end of the day, John Wick had, in the first movie, retired from this assassination club and said, look, after the passing of my wife, I don't want to be in this world. This is not where I want to go. I want to retire. I want to be in my world. Just give me a moment, guys. Thank you for your patience, guys. So, in this fourth movie, it picks up, like I said, in the tail end of the third movie, where John Wick goes after the clan that had promised, if you do this job for us, you'll be set free and you'll be able to live your life happily, retired, and not having to work for this assassination club, which of course ended up not being true. And you see in this movie that the character played by Bill Skarsgård of Marquis Vincent. I'm not going to go through the whole title. It's a long title, like a lot of quote unquote royalty or aristocracy of France and England. They have these long titles and complicated names. But basically, Bill Skarsgård character is this high class, aristocratical character that clearly wants to have control of what's called the table in the movie. The table is what controls this secret assassination club in the John Wick world. They're the one who dictates the rules and regulations, what is permitted, what's not permitted, etc. So you see that the Ian McShane character was disavowed. I know that there was another secondary character played by the actor that was also in Matrix, a black guy. I forgot his name. Um, but he was, both these characters were friends of John Wick's character and are supporting him, and they've kind of want to reestablish themselves in the world because they support John Wick. They've been outed in the world, and until John Wick reestablishes everything, they have no power or say in the sort of secret society that's going on in John Wick 4. So, of course, John Wick 4 is about John Wick being able to basically retire and live his life as he so deems fit, but also reestablishing his two friends and making sure that they can stay in the world of this secret assassination club. I know, obviously, secret assassination club isn't the best way of describing this, but right now, that's the best way I can tell you guys about this. And of course, some people are happy about this, some people aren't. The character of Hiroyuki does pass away to the behest of his daughter Rina, who plays Shimazu, who, of course, I will talk about in a moment, is not happy about John Wick asking for help from Hiroyuki character. Because again, in the fourth movie, it's made very clear that John Wick has been outed from the secret club of assassins, and he's basically being told, you cannot ask for help from anybody, you're on your own. So that's obviously not a good thing for John Wick, but of course, John Wick is very resourceful. So you see in the movie John Wick being told that, hey, look, if you genuinely want your freedom, if you genuinely want to get out of this world, truly 100%, you have to ask for a one-on-one, uh, sort of old school duel of between him and the main character, the main villain, right? And that way, if you do it the old school way, you'll be able to truly be free, or you'll end up losing your life, one way or the other, right? So of course the main character, played, like I said, by Bill Skarsgård, does anything and everything to prevent that from happening. He sends a whole bunch of people to go after John Wick and to stop him from showing up to this duel, because if you don't show up to this duel, it's automatic, you're passing away, right? You forfeit, and you and the other person, the quote unquote second in command, which in this case, like I said, is Ian McShane. Uh, Both people pass away. Or for the Bill Skarsgård character, would be him and Donnie Yen, playing the character of Kane, who happens to be blind in this movie. I don't think he's blind in real life, but in the movie he plays a blind character, a blind assassin, which is also very interesting. So obviously, like I said, you see the adventures, the ups and downs of the movie, and at the end, the duel happens. It doesn't happen like you would think, between, because technically it's Keanu Reeves' character that calls out Bill Skarsgård character, says, "I want to duel you. You have to be at the other end of the pistol." Bill Skarsgård says, "No, I want to nominate somebody else to be in my place," and he nominates the blind character of Donnie Yen, who plays Kane in the movie. So at the end of the movie, again, spoilers, guys. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to see, this is definitely a big spoiler here. They take a total of 3 shots. They both hit targets, but nothing that unalives the other person. At the fourth shot, Bill Skarsgård steps in and says, "I want to take my shot. I want to have the official unaliving shot." And that's when it's revealed that uh, Keanu Reeves' character John Wick never took his third shot, so he unalives Bill Skarsgård's character. Not when I say unalive, I'm saying this not because I don't think in swearing is inappropriate or things like that, but YouTube obviously has these new rules and regulation when it comes to swearing, when it comes to having weapons. So I do have to be mindful of what I say. And John Wick is not it's not a princess movie. It's not a rom-com or romance comedy. It's definitely very violent and inappropriate for children. Definitely not the kind of movie you want to bring your 5-year-old to, right? So I do have to be mindful of what I say when I'm talking about this movie. So he gets his ultimate revenge on Bill Skarsgård's character and is told, "You've won your freedom. We cannot go after you anymore. We cannot ask you to do anything. All your obligations to the secret assassination club are released. You're a free man. You can get to do whatever you want to do." But Ian McShane's character realizes right away that the shots that Keanu Reeves took in the duel were unfortunately uh, kill shots, or unalivened shots, I should say. So yes, at the end of the movie, that's the big reveal. Keanu Reeves' character John Wick does pass away officially, right? And you also reveal that Ian McShane was his father, which I did not see coming in this movie. So what did I think about this movie? So that was a basic summary of John Wick 4. Honestly, this is the kind of movie, it's extremely predictable. This is not one of those movies where you're seeing this innovation. Oh, it's so new, it's so different from every other action movie, every other horror movie, every other suspense movie. You see the cues coming right near the end of the movie, where he has to go and duel with Don Yen. the Kane character, it was told that near the end, there's so many steps, there's 220 steps, and he only has less than 10 minutes to go up these steps. Well, of course, what do you think is going to happen? Of course, he's going to fall 2, 3 times, literally down the steps all the way through. So, this is definitely the kind of movie where all the things that you think are going to happen. It's not a big reveal. It's not a, oh my god, I didn't see this coming. The only excuse me, guys. The only thing I didn't see coming personally was the fact that Ian McShane's character of Winston was his father. He does say something to the effect of "Goodbye, son" at the end of the movie, where you see John Wick's grave site. Now, the other thing that I think, to be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about this, but it was done in such a way where, did John Wick really pass away? Did he not pass away? Um, Near the end of the movie, you see that he kind of slumps down on the steps because the duel would happen by a church. You see him slump down by the steps of the church, right? But you never actually there's nothing there that confirms that he's actually passed away, right? So the ending of the movie could easily be read of, oh, he's just pretending to be passed away so that he's sure that nobody's going to go after him, but in reality he's alive, right? But you have two characters that I didn't mention that much. Excuse me. One character is Rina's character of Shimazu Akira, which I talked about very briefly, who's the daughter of Hiroyuki's character, Shimazu Koji. She, excuse me, she at the beginning of the movie does survive. Her father does not. And she kind of steps away, tells him, I hope I never see you again, etc. Um, at the end of the movie, it could easily be left like she's taken revenge, right? She's gonna take up the mantle of her father being, you know, there's a couple lines where the character of Donnie Yen took the life of her father, and he says, I'll be seeing you soon," right? So he kind of, it's kind of implied that she might go after the person that unalived her father, right? And then you have another character played by Shami Anderson, who I didn't talk about, who's a tracker in the movie, and he's always, oh, I'm nobody. What's your name? Nobody, right? You don't know who this character is. He's credited as a tracker, but what does that mean in this world, right? So another potential sequel or prequel or spin-off of this movie could be following this character, and maybe he's going to take the place of John Wick and be the next Baba Yaga, because John Wick's character is highly feared, especially in the first one, right? People call him Baba Yaga, and there's a whole history in Eastern Europe when it comes to the character of Baba Yaga. I'll let you guys look that up for yourself. But it is an Eastern European superstition or folklore, however you want to call it, that surrounds the character of Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga is supposed to be this very big, scary person. And obviously, Keanu Reeves represents that in this assassination club. Hello, the Budflies. Thank you for being here and taking some time to listen to my review of John Wick 4. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling anything for you if you do plan on seeing this movie. But I hope that you are going to be here with me. And definitely, guys, I did put a poll out, so take the time to answer the poll if you have a moment, please, and thank you. So I'm just going to go ahead to the poll to reread the question, so that way you guys know what it was. So the question was, do you prefer streaming or cable? So either it's cable, streaming, both, or no real preference. So far, there's been 6 votes, and everybody has said that they prefer streaming, which I don't blame you guys. I prefer streaming. You have a little bit more control of what you're seeing. And for those of you who are interested in John Wick, I believe John Wick 1 and 2 are on Netflix Canada. They might not be available on Netflix USA or other Netflix, but I think it's available on Netflix Canada. Worst case scenario, I think it's on YouTube where you can buy or rent the movies on Netflix as well. And that's the other thing. I'm with what's called Cine Club, which basically is a monthly membership that you pay. I think it's like $10 a month, but you get movie tickets at a reduced rate. You get food or whatever else that you buy, snacks and things like that, at the movie theater at a reduced rate. And every once in a while, if they see that, okay, you haven't really spent a whole lot, you haven't bought a whole lot, they'll give you a free movie ticket. So for me, at the rate that I buy movies and watch movies, it's worth spending that $10 a month. But I'm not affiliated with them, so if you guys don't want to invest that money into it or something similar in your city, in your state, don't worry. Like I said, there's no skin off my nose. So you guys do with your money however you like. I think it's worth it for me personally, but that's just my personal experience and my personal opinion. Okay. So the other thing that I really liked about this movie is that, of course, there is a lot of CGI, a lot of stunt work. Let's be honest. Uh, John Wick, Keanu Reeves is not exactly 22 anymore, right? He's not his young self anymore. So there will be a lot of stunt work. There will be some CGI. So it will come into play. But as much as okay, this particular scene, especially near the opening, where John Wick is in the Tokyo hotel. I don't think it's technically Tokyo, but in the Japanese hotel, there's a lot of CGI in that shot, in that scene. But you don't mind because it's so well done that you really can't tell that it's CGI. You almost feel like that's really what's happening. And the other thing that I liked, and it sounds ridiculous for me to say it, but the movie was so over the top, so ridiculous, so unbelievable. But that's actually what I loved about this movie, because it's like, look, we know in reality this could not happen. In the John Wick movies, I think especially in the starting from the second one, they introduced this the suit that John Wick wears as a completely bulletproof suit that he has, and he seems to be one of the few people that has this suit. So he takes bullet shots, he takes cannons and all this stuff, and you're like, if this was real life, this would not happen. There's no way you can tell me that a suit, no matter how well it's built, is going to take an AK-47 a shot to it. You know what I mean? It's just absolutely ridiculous, right? But that's what I enjoyed about this movie, is the fact that it was so ridiculous and it was just out there, and they made no bones, or like, it's like, let's just do it. Let's just be ridiculous. Let's just build this world where you have this person that can do all this stuff and survive. And you're like, wait, if this was real life, this would not happen. The number of times that the John Wick character got hit by a car was unbelievable. Like, or he fell down from like 3 or 4 stories or higher. It's like, if this happened in real life, you and I are not surviving this. You and I are definitely not going through this, and it's just a minor injury. No, like, it's gonna be a major injury if you and I go through what John Wick goes through in John Wick 4, right? But like I said, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But that's what I liked about this movie. It's just absolute nonsense in this movie. Hello, hello, Moshe's Empire. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you enjoy my movie review of the movie John Wick 4. Obviously, I'm giving you guys my personal opinions, and thank you for participating in the poll as well that I have up for everybody. So yeah, so like I said, this movie is definitely a very ridiculous movie, very unbelievable at times. You're like, what's going on? Like, come on, this cannot be happening. Really? He really went through this. He really did that. But they just played into it and they took it um just serious enough where they build a world where, yeah, in this world this makes sense that this happens, but you also know that in the real world this probably would not happen, but that's absolutely fine. They just, like I said, played into the ridiculousness of this movie, and they're like, yeah, you know what, we know that it's not meant to be a real world portrayal of the world of assassinations, right? Of this is what really would happen if John Wick was a real character. It's like, no, we John Wick is a fictitious character. We're gonna play him as this absolute beast of a person, and he's going to do things that we know in the real world probably would not happen, and I'm fine with that. It's you when you go in to see John Wick 4, you know it's going to be ridiculous, you know it's not going to be a real world representation, and I'm fine with that, right? Because there are movies that you do expect it to be more serious and more, okay, this is what's actually happening, right? When you have a movie that's a biography, right, that's meant to portray the life of, I don't know, Anne Boleyn or Queen Elizabeth or something. For those movies, yes, I expect it to be very realistic. I expect it to portray the person or the event as is. With John Wick, it's like, no, we're going to be ridiculous, we're going to be absolutely silly, we're going to push things to the extreme, and we have no bones about it. We make no if ends or buts about it. It's like, look, this is going to be silly, this is going to be crazy and nonsensical, and you're going to enjoy it, and I definitely did. So I'm glad, Moisha, that you're doing very well. I'm glad to see it, and I'm always happy to hear and see that people are doing well. Uh, we all, even if we're not in the same situations, we're not all in the 1% and all that stuff. I always want you and everybody else to live their possible best life. So I'm glad that everything is going well for you, Moisha. But if you need anything, don't be shy to ask. I'll do my best to help you. Can't promise anything, but I'll do my best. But anyways, so overall I have to say that I did like this movie. Obviously, like I said before, the ending of the movie kind of gave me the impression that they left just enough where even though I'm sure that the character did really pass away, that depending on how much money this movie makes, they might either go the route of he's gonna come back to life and excuse me, he's gonna come back to life and the other characters are gonna take over, or they're gonna go do the route of a prequel or sequel with this movie. This movie made too much money overall already in the first first couple of weeks that this movie's been out, but also overall I think John Wick 1 through 3 have done financially very well. So I think that the producers, the director, will do anything and everything for this series to keep going, and I don't blame them. And like I said, at the end of the movie, there was just enough that was there where you're like, they kind of left the two big things, like I said, was the character of Nobody and the daughter of the Japanese manager for the hotel. Those two characters were for sure characters that they could develop potentially and go either with a prequel or a sequel of some kind, or spin-off or whatever you want to say. um they probably will go that route with these two characters. The other option, like I said before, is that they'll potentially say, "Oh no, 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 John Wick really didn't pass away. He just pretended, so that way he's guaranteed his peaceful life." But of course, oh, somebody figured out, so they're gonna go after him, and oh, screw the pact, screw the deal that we had. We want him unalived, and we'll go after him. So, who knows? But anyways, I'll end my live on that note. Like I said, I am under the weather, so I don't want to go on and on too much. Overall, I did enjoy the movie. I really liked it. I highly recommend that you guys go see this movie if you are into action movies. There will be a certain amount of violence to this movie. It's not meant for children by any way, shape, or form. This is an adult movie, so if you have children, you want to bring your children to the movie, this is definitely not the movie to go to. It will be brutal. It will be there will be quite a lot of blood involved. So if that's not the kind of movie that you want for yourself or your children, don't go see this movie. But I personally like action movies. I like horror movies, so I definitely enjoyed it. But again, that's just my personal taste. It's not for everybody. So I don't blame you guys if you say, "You know what, that's not for me. She stole my thunder. I'd rather not." I don't blame you. I don't like rom coms. Some of you might love rom coms, and that's absolutely fine. You don't have to like the movies I like. I'm not going to like the movies you guys like, right? So that's why I give you guys for these. Excuse me for that. I had a little cough. That's why I always tell you guys these are my personal opinions. I'm giving you guys my thoughts of a movie, which is why I'm glad I'm not sponsored by anybody. I can come out here and say, in all honesty, what I think about any particular movie. Right. So we're gonna end the poll and see what your guys' thoughts. But I think pretty much most of you had that general idea that, like myself, excuse me, if the wants to, there we are. So there were a total of 7 votes. Most of you went for, do you prefer streaming or cable? Most of you went 85% with streaming, 14% with cable. Nobody picked both or no real preferences. So I think most of you are like myself where you prefer streaming. I do have Amazon Prime, Netflix, and what's it called? Shuddered. Shuddered does specialize in horror movies, especially the older movies like in the 60s and 70s. So if you're a big horror movie buff, I definitely recommend Shuddered if you can, if you want to. But again, guys, I'm giving you guys my personal opinion, so I'm not making any money. If you don't want to involve yourself in Shuddered or Prime or Netflix, that's absolutely fine. There's no skin off my nose. You guys can have your own personal opinions. If you're watching this on the replay, leave me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know if you've seen the movie John Wick 4. What are your thoughts? What did you guys think of the movie? Did you agree with me? Did you not agree? Maybe is there something that I missed, right? I definitely not. When I saw this movie, I was definitely like laughing at moments, scared at moments. So there might have been things that I've missed, right? But like I said, overall, I definitely liked the movie. If you're into action movies, if you don't mind a little bit of blood, a little bit gore, you're going to enjoy this movie overall. If you don't like that kind of movie, step away. This is not the movie for you, and that's absolutely fine. So I'll end it there, like I said, guys, on my review of the movie John Wick 4. So thank you very much, Moisha's Empire, for being here. Thank you, the Bud Life, Bud File, sorry, for being here. Thank you, Lasher's Journey. Thank you, PSV Odyssey, for being here. And Tim Faye Smith and Life with Mecca and Family had come in earlier. Thank you guys for being here and leaving me a like. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the movie John Wick 4. Like I said, definitely give it a thumbs up. Definitely enjoyed it. So I hope you guys go see this movie and let me know what you think. if that's the kind of movie you enjoy. So I hope to see you guys in these quote unquote YouTube streets. So have a great Sunday afternoon, and I hope your week is as wonderful as you guys are. So have a great one, guys. Thank you very much for being here. And again, I apologize for my raspy voice. I am under the weather, but I felt like I still needed to go through this live. So have a great weekend, a great week. Thank you very much to everybody for being here.